how long did you like, what are some of the things you struggle with too? Because it's important for them to see like,
Yeah.
there's nothing different for me and Sean. There's
Yeah.
nothing different for me and Julian. So like share a little bit about what you struggled with either before launching your business or before launching the podcast.
I've talked about this in my podcast before, but about 18 months ago, my business basically failed. I was $300,000 in the hole. I had to let go half of my staff, and I was running it like shit because our sales were really good, but I was spending too much on ads. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep making up for it by spending more on ads. And, and we had the sales coming in and we had all these people, and I wanted to keep my employees working because I promised them that you're working for a growing company, and it just all crashed on me. And I literally, I paid $15,000 in just bank fees for getting all the overdraft fees. I was way in the hole. So like money would come in from the sales in the morning, and I'd have to distribute it out to like some of my suppliers before it all came out after at like 11. It was ugly. And it was honestly like at the time that it happened, I woke up and me and my fiance I run the business with, we even had to rent out our house for a couple weekends and like sleep at the office. Like we had to go to the grocery store.
Dude, I love that, man.
We got our cars declined at the grocery store buying like spaghetti a couple of times. Like it was very ugly. And at the time that it was happening, I loved it. Like I looked at, and this is where I'm weird. I tell people this and they're like, you're weird, man. And it's almost like all this success and stuff. And I've almost flipped it as like, I love failing. It's fun because I took pictures at the time. I took screenshots of the bank accounts that I still have. I took pictures of us sleeping at the office. And I'm like, this is going to be a hell of a story when we make it come. Oh, yeah. So over the next 6 months, I had to fire like 70% of my people. We kept 3 or 4 people. I had to buckle down and I had to really learn like these details about how to run these ads properly, how to run my business properly. I was just a young idiot who had a lot of sales, and there's a lot of other details in the business that I was just like kind of ignoring. So I really had to learn it. And I could have gave up. I should have like practically, but I knew that like the holidays were coming up and things were going to turn around. So I just fought through and I learned how to run my business for real. And it was an epic failure, but like I almost like have trained myself to like that and like look at that as an opportunity to fight back. And maybe it could happen to me again in the future on a bigger level. And the other thing I always say is like, so like if you get like criticized and judged by other people, that brings like anxiety to you. And it's a natural fear that people have. Like I have almost like flipped that into like, I like it. Like I always say like one of my goals would be to have like a Comedy Central roast, or like if people like make fun of me, like I've almost like embraced being like kind of like, and this is where like the ego is kind of interesting for me. Like I almost embrace like being a character and like, so I can be made fun of, like, because I've learned to like it. And then it almost makes me indefensible because if I'm successful, then I'm happy. And that's successful is not a concrete term, but if I do well, I'm happy. And then if I do bad, I can have people make fun of me and I can have a story to fight back from. And that makes me happy too. So I feel like I'm like indefensible by looking at it like that. And I've talked about that on my podcast before, and I'm always happy because either way it goes, like I can find the positives in it. And that's kind of how I've overcame these things. And then it's funny because about 6 years ago, when I started this business, I started in my mom's basement, and my friends called me like t-shirt boy. They're like, oh, I'm sure you'll be like a millionaire selling t-shirts, man. Like, and they're all kind of like down on me. And even when I go into my family, they're like, yeah, Sean, you probably got like a real job and stuff. But like now that's all over because now business is doing great. I bought a house. I mean, I had that downturn, but and now I just started this podcasting thing, and it's almost like I'm back to square one. I was just at a family wedding recently, and some of my cousins were like, "Hey, what's up, podcast boy?" Like,
jeez, you're brutal.
I mean, I kind of welcome it on a little bit because I said I like it, like, but like it's fun for me to be kind of back at square one. So now when I go home for Thanksgiving, I don't think people are going to be saying like, "How's the business going?" because they see like my Instagram and stuff. They're going to be more like, oh, like that podcast, like just starting, like it's looking okay. Like, and I kind of like being back to square one a little bit. And I think I'm weird. Every time I saw someone that, they're like, dude, you're weird, man. You're a fucking weirdo. And I'm like, yeah, but it kind of relates to all this mindset stuff because I've learned all this before, and I've kind of produced it in my own way where it's like, I like being back to square one and having, because no story, there's never a superhero movie where everything just goes fine the whole time. There's always that time where they are down and it looks like they can't turn around. So every good story has a down. And it also, I always look at life as like one of the ways that you can have the most successful life? Is it the longer you're remembered, kind of like? So if you want to be remembered by even just your friends and family, like I don't know who my great grandfather is. I don't know my other like, they're gone. They're basically vanished from the world. You know, like so. The fact that I'm doing the podcast, like that'll be like recorded and stuff, but just having a story makes you like be remembered longer. And in order to have a story, you have to have ups and downs or kind of do something crazy. And that's like kind of my approach. And what do you think about that?
Dude, I fucking love it, man. And because that's real. Like,